to go!
Hello everyone, and welcome to Claude and the Bansters for this late night show. We've got a great guest with us, Stan the Man again. How you doing, mate? You okay?
Yeah, I'm not bad at all. This is another late one for you. And what's the time now in the UK? It's what, half 2 in the morning? Something like that?
2:35 at the moment, mate. 2:35. What's it there?
It's 6:30 over here in Vancouver.
Right,
so I'm just interested as well where everybody's from in the chat box while we're having a chat. Just let us know where you're from at this time in the morning, or whether it's evening where you are.
Yeah, let us know. Let us know. Everyone joining the chat. Any questions you want to ask us, fire away. We've got me and Stan for an hour. Let's get the show started, Stan. I mean, the big topic on everyone's mind is obviously the season coming back. Do you think it's gonna come back, mate?
Well, the craziest thing that I've read about this is the Australia proposal.
Yeah.
And I was reading it again just before we came on out. And first of all, when I read it, I thought it was like a joke, like a bit of satire. But the stories gathered legs, and it's a few publications are talking about it, that what they're basically saying is because the COVID virus seems to have gone over the curve in Australia and they're kind of lifting their lockdown, they're talking about flying all of the 20 teams of the Premier League out to Australia and have maybe, say, 4 stadiums over there and finish the remaining games in Australia.
I can't see that happening. I mean, listen, I know they've got a really low rate of deaths over Australia, and it looks like they're, might be coming out of it or things like that. But listen, I've got a really big question on these tests, right? On these tests, the tests that they're talking about, you can have a test done and see if you've got it, right?
Yeah.
So if you have the test done, does that mean that you haven't got it that day or at that specific time? Or does it mean that you've not had it at all? Does it mean that you haven't got it in your system? So in the next 2-3 weeks, that it ain't harvested in your body? Do you know what I mean? What is it? Do you know, Stan? Have you heard anything about it?
I have no idea how the testing works, whether it's testing for where you are at the moment or anything like that. But you'd think in a period of going somewhere, whether it's Australia, even if they do something similar in England and they have like an area where they're going to have football pitches or whatever, you'd think that the testing would have to be constant, right?
Yeah.
They would have to be frequently testing. And I mean, let's face it, the only reason that they're even considering flying everyone to Australia is because they're desperate to find a way of not having to give money back, making sure that the finances still flow. And when I first read it, I did kind of laugh and thought to myself, wow, what a madness doing all of that. But the more I thought about it, I thought, well, if there is a way of finishing the season and you fly them over and they maybe have like some time to prepare, would it be really a bad thing? I don't know. I mean, obviously the time would be different for watching it, especially for you guys in the UK. But I mean, do you think it's if you could finish the season in that way? I mean, I suppose the question you've got to ask is, if you was a player, would you want to do it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, Snedden, I wished it was, mate. It's just blackcurrant, mate. That's all I could get my hands on. I've literally just got in from work 2 minutes ago. I wished it was, mate. No, I know what you're saying about my only reservations, like I just said, is that obviously, when Arteta got it, it was like the game was 2 weeks before, wasn't it? So
that's right.
If he would have had the test at the time, would it have shown that he had it in his system? That's what I'm trying to say. So let's be honest. I mean, we can fly or test everyone tomorrow, right? So no player has got it. Fly them over to Australia. They have a 2-week training period or pre-season, to get ready. They play a game. All of a sudden, one test positive. So that means then that them 2 teams have to isolate for 14 days.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. at first I thought, no, you know what I mean, we've got to get the season's got to finish no matter what. Do you know what I mean? It's got to finish. We've got to get it finished. But I can't see a way around it now for me. I just can't see it. I don't know about yourself, Stan.
It's going to be odd, isn't it? I mean, I watched WrestleMania quite recently. It's the biggest thing of the year, right, in the wrestling world. And it was so different to see it without all of the pomp and circumstance. You know what I mean? Like the crowd and all of the usual stuff going on. So I don't know how you would do it behind closed doors as well. I mean, it just sounds like the FA are very desperate to somehow get to finish the season, right? You know, they're desperate for it. But other leagues have already stopped their seasons, right? So maybe we should be following the example. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I totally
changes every day, doesn't it?
It's just, that's what I mean. Every night, Flo, I will get you on, mate, if you want to come on. Give me 2 minutes. Let me just finish this off, and then when Stan's answering the next question, I'll send it to you. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, for me, like I said at the beginning, I was all for it. Do you know what I mean? We've got to get it done. There's going to be too many sort of ifs and buts, too many lawsuits. You know what I mean? There's a few games in the Premiership that got a game in hand, teams. Do you know what I mean? So we need to get it finished. But the more and more I think about it, the more and more I think logistically, how can they do it? You know, I think I see something the other day saying it's going to take 300 to 400 people per game, like television people, you know, the teams, the players, the people. You know what I mean? Obviously, we're going to have ambulance people there because if a player gets injured, you know what I mean, that they need to. So we're taking away resources from the NHS there. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I think, and then the other day I see that the players may be able to carry on, but they're going to have to wear masks. How are you going to wear a mask being a player running about for 90 minutes?
Yeah, no spitting as well.
Exactly, that's what I mean. They're going to have all they won't be able to see, will they? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, look, spitting is not a nice thing, but when you're playing football at that level, you know, you do have to occasionally spit your mouth out. It's just part of it, right? You know, you just do. So, I mean, it changes every day, like Terry. Do you know what I mean? So every other day, you know, there's another suggestion or another way of. It's going to get to a stage where I think where they're just going to have to concede, like France have done, and you know, other countries such as Italy, and just say that it's not going to happen. I mean, what else are they going to do? Fly everyone off to a desert island somewhere? You know? Do you know what I mean? Like building goals out like bamboos and stuff like that. I mean, this was ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's only because there's so much money involved, but then you lead on to the other question, which we've done for ages as well. You stop the season, and you say, okay, we're going to stop the season. Do you then next season restart the season where we left off and next season shorter? Or do we start next season as we were this season, and are we just going to hand Liverpool the trophy? I mean, loads of questions. I mean, we've talked about it quite a lot, really, but...
Good on you, Chadwick. He's saying I'm doing a shot of tequila right now. Oh,
nice one.
Good lad. Flo, I've sent you the link, so if you want to come on, mate, you're more than welcome. Not only that, what I can't understand is Stan, if we don't follow suit with France and Belgium and all things like that now, because obviously their season's finished, what happens if they... I mean, they're not going to wait for us to start the Champions League next year, are they?
No, you know, it's all going to start at the same time, hasn't it, you think?
Exactly. And not only that, I mean, how can we even think about Champions League and the Europa League if we can't even fly, or the borders are still shut? So you know, we possibly could be playing next season anyway without any Champions League and Europa League anyway.
Yeah. And then that'll be the next big thing. Once the league gets sorted out one way or the other, and if it does even return, that'll be the next thing, right? It's about the Champions League because, again, the Champions League, it's a big revenue, right? And the revenue, the money, seems to be the main driver of what the decisions are.
Yeah. No, you're totally right.
If I was a player, I wouldn't want to be going back to any of it unless I knew that everything was safe.
Yeah.
You know, but then it does raise the question that do you then continue to accept your salary if you're not working? Because I guarantee you that as of now that this has happened, going forward, football contracts are probably going to look a lot different, and there'll be clauses in there that will say that if anything happens and the club can't play, you know, then you will take a substantial maybe reduction in your salary. There were these clauses there. I can see that definitely going to go in.
Definitely, I understand what you're saying, because just on the radio, just as I was on the way home, they were saying about obviously one of the reality TV shows. I think it must have been Love Island they're talking about, because that's supposed to be on very soon.
Right.
And here he is. Here's our main man, Flo. How you doing, Flo? Hope you're good, mate. All the way from down under.
See, what's this thing going on that you guys want to bring your games to down under, mate, to my country? What's going on?
We was just literally talking about that, mate. But I was just saying on the radio on the way home from work just a minute ago, they was talking about, I think it must have been Love Island. I didn't catch the actual show they was talking about, but it must be that. And they were saying that they were thinking about putting a contestant in a hotel altogether for 2 weeks beforehand, and then obviously getting the show started. But the only thing that's stopping that is that the TV companies can't get insurance for these people.
Right, yeah.
Because the insurance companies now will not put this in their contract because obviously they know that they'll have to pay out.
Yeah.
So
I think it was Wimbledon that didn't they like I think it was Wimbledon that a few years ago, some years ago, they took out some really obscure insurance, like their insurance policy against things such as a pandemic. And it was, you know, you can imagine it, can't you? The insurance salesman's probably left, got on the phone to his boss at the office and gone, "You're never going to believe it. I've only sold one of them pandemic insurances." And they've all had a giggle. But now they stand to pocket about something like £100 million because of this insurance that they actually took out many years ago.
Bloody hell. What's your thoughts on this, Flo?
Sorry, just keep me up to date. What's going on? Where you guys up to? Because I didn't catch where you guys left off.
Basically, you know, we was talking about, first of all, the games coming to your country, Australia, but logistically and realistically, can you see that happening? Can it possibly happen?
Well, first of all, the games in this country, which is Australia's own sports and codes, haven't got on yet. So I'm a bit surprised where these talk has come from, where England look to bring the Premier League down here, because our games over here haven't started, which is the Honda A-League, the football, Aussie rules football, Australian rules football, which is their type of rugby but different, and also the rugby code hasn't started here. So I'm a bit, surprised. And when I heard that England want to bring their Premier League stars over here to resume the league, which is, a bit new to me here. But look, over here we still have the restrictions. Now some of the states have opened their rules a little bit less, so they can go to families now. They can visit families and go to like parks, have picnics and whatsoever. But that's only about 2 or 3 states who have done that. Where I am in Melbourne, Victoria, our restrictions are not, like New South Wales have opened their restrictions a bit less. But here, no sports, like in Australia, no sports all over. It's only Canberra who's out of the coronavirus, which is no people in Canberra have the corona. That's clear. And look, Australia's done pretty good at it because the whole country has only had about 89 deaths from 28 million, 29 million, whatever we are. So, I find it a bit surprising that, the Premier League's talking about bringing the league to Australia to continue, which is the Australian sports haven't started yet. So, yeah. But
is there any news on when they're going to start, though, the Australian sports, or not?
They're thinking end of May. The rugby, the Aussie rules football, and the A-League continuing sort of end of May. See where they're at with this, and then if everything's good, then they'll start behind closed doors. But they're also thinking about taking games up north, which is in the Northern Territory, where the weather's always 25 plus degrees Celsius. which over there the coronavirus hasn't spread. So I think they have about 3 or 4 people with it. But that's, that's minimal. And also what you guys are talking about, just neutral venues. I think they're talking about doing that here as well. But like the big major venues like the MCG and the Etihad Stadium, which was here, but now it's called Marvel Stadium. The big capacity, 50,000 plus, they won't be opening up anytime soon. But they're thinking end of May, but also with no crowds. So, yeah, it's a bit all over the shop here as well.
Okay. So let's move on from that subject and move on to this one then, which is more or less the same thing. But Stan, they're saying that the Premiership next year will possibly be played behind closed doors for the whole season.
Well, it's a bit premature to say that, right? Because we don't know how, this situation seems to be changing on a weekly basis, right? And it's the match day revenue which is really important to a lot of clubs, especially to a lot of clubs, not such as big as us, Man United, the Liverpools further down the league. They really rely on their match day revenue. As I've said to you earlier, right? Look at Reading. Reading, for every £1 that Reading Football Club makes in revenue by any means, they have to spend £2 on player salaries. Yeah. So a team like Reading, I think they were like in 20th position in the Championship, right? They're not even one of the teams that have any chance of getting into the Premier League. So how would that affect them if they've got no gate revenue at all? So, it's a lot of speculation, and I just can't see that. Well, I'm not saying I can't see it happening. If the virus is still on, if we're in the same place next season, then maybe.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's hard to say though, right?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Flo, what's your feelings on that?
Look, the thing with this is no one really knows and has an idea how long this is going to last. So even if they do go ahead with the Premier League for next season behind closed doors, it makes everything hard again for everyone. But the only people that will benefit is the TV rights broadcasters, because going into the stadium can only hold 40,000+ people. So there's just a minority of people that the income they'll be hurting for. But internationally, all over the world, the broadcasters will be on TV, the games, everything will be on. But even with that, how are they going to? Like I've heard some of the players are saying, we got families with this and that, and it's a risk as well. So they even like high-profile players have come out, like Aguero, saying, we are scared to, go into that environment. So, look, if it does go behind closed doors, well, the FA has to work out exactly, how they're going to do it, and also the medical ambulance and whatever. How many people are going to be on the ground? Are they going to be tested before they play? And also, if they do get tested before the games go ahead, if everyone's clear, and also I've heard about spitting in the field. Well, if you tested and you tested negative, why is it not allowed for a player to spit? Because in football, you do spit, you even snort and all that stuff, into the ground. So if you tested negative and you don't have the coronavirus, why aren't you allowed to spit? Which a lot of people are, in uproar saying, "Oh, no spitting. If you do spit, there should be automatically red card." Just if you've tested negative, why can't you spit? But it is what it is. If it happens, look, we all miss football. I would want it to come back on, but if it has to be behind closed doors, it's better than nothing.
Oh yeah, without a shadow of doubt. If it's beyond, listen. At the end of the day, like everyone's been saying, I just think everyone's missing football, and we all want it back. You know what I mean? Without a shadow of doubt. But life's are more important. You know what I mean? So we've just got to put up a bit at the moment. I've just got to wait until obviously the FA and UEFA make a decision and go from there. Really. So, I don't know, really. We've just got to go through it. It's going to take time. Like everyone keeps saying, this virus is not going to go just like that. If we come back too quick, we could get a second wave of it. So we've got to be very cautious, I think, boys. Very cautious. So I just think personally, we need to just, end it we need to give Liverpool some recognition of what they've done this season, because they've been magnificent, let's be honest. And
No, we don't. No, we don't. We just give him some Amazon vouchers and say, well done, lads, you had a good season. See you later.
But you know, I think that's the best way of doing it, really. Yeah. Flo, we're getting some feedback. Have you got speakers on there?
What was that?
We're getting feedback off of your phone.
My phone. Let me get it and come back in.
All right, mate. All right. What's your feelings? And everyone in the comments, let us know. What's your feelings, Stan, on obviously all these transfer rumours? Should we really be talking about transfers at a time when we don't even know if we're going to finish the season, when the season's going to end, what's going to happen next season? You know what I mean? So what's your feelings on that?
Well, it all depends what story you want to believe, right? You can either believe the story of Raul Signelli coming out and saying, look, transfers aren't going to be our main priority, you know? So if that's the case, then you can forget players like Thomas Partey and Upamecano, because they both got buyout clauses, and the buyout clauses combined is not far off of £100 million. But then the other way you can look at it is, I don't know how many times in the past we've been sold a story that we're not going to be doing much in the transfer window, and then we'll go out and make an investment of £72 million on a player like Pepe.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You really don't know what to believe with Arsenal anymore. But the other way is, as I say, the two main players that everyone's talking about, there's a lot of speculation, but they've both got buyout clauses. Yeah. So if you want to show your intent, then you know what you've got to do. But then you're talking about reducing player salaries, right? So if you're talking about reducing player salaries, how do you attract players with good wages? It's going to be an interesting summer, whatever happens. So that's even if the transfer window opens when it usually does, right? That might even end up being delayed as well. So it's going to be very interesting. But where do you stand when you hear Raul Signelli say that, you know, transfers aren't our main priority? Also remembering that a week prior to that, the owner of the club was saying that he was going to put millions into Arsenal.
Yeah.
What do you believe? Because it's all contradictory, right?
I don't know, mate. To be honest, I'm not a big lover. I must admit, I'm not a big lover of just clickbait. If you know what I mean.
Oh yeah.
I just can't stand it. You know what I mean? I can't stand clickbait. All this, you know what I mean? We're going in for this player. We're going in for that player, and you know what I mean. And then all of a sudden, that player don't want to come to our club, and he wants to go somewhere else. And this other club is, you know, nearly signed him, and then 2 minutes later, we've signed him anyway. All this clickbait transfers, I just think that we've got to wait now. Let's forget about talking about transfers. You know what I mean? We can't get anyone in until we've decided that the season's ended. If the season's going to go ahead, when is the transfer window going to be? You know, if some people are saying that we've got to finish this league off, and it could be September, October. I mean, where does that put the transfer window?
Yeah. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I mean, you look at. I'm more concerned about the 5 players whose contracts are ending.
Yeah,
and that needs to be sorted out, because a majority of those players, like Luis, Xhaka, Socrates, Mustafi, they're a group of players. All right, I'm not going to mention Ozil because we know that that's not going to get renewed. But the others that I've just mentioned, the majority of those players are ones that a high majority of the fan base would like to see move on. And maybe in a normal transfer window, a player like Socrates, you may see someone, I'm just going to pick a league, maybe a team in Turkey will pop their head up and they'd weigh 15 to maybe 20 million euros, and we'd do the deal. But with the way that, you know, because of the virus and the pandemic and that everybody's looking at, you know, a loss of income, clubs might not have that 15 to 20 million, which we would usually get for someone like a Socrates. So does that mean that we have to renew their contracts? Or do we just keep them for another year and then let them walk for free? So it's going to be really interesting. And if Raul Signelli is talking about that transfers aren't going to be the main priority this summer, then surely we're going to be some of the players that we don't want. We're going to be stuck with them because we're short as it is, right? In midfield, we're short as it is in defence.
No, I totally agree. Flo, what do you make of the transfer window? Should we be talking about transfer windows in the time when we don't even know if the season's going to end, if it's going to come back? You know what I mean? So what do you make of, the transfer window?
Look, there has been a lot of talk about, already players going here, going there, Arsenal in for this, Arsenal in for that. Look, we don't know whether the season is going to resume, let alone transfer, or where next season is going to start, the new season. So for me, all this transfer talk, it's all up in the air, and also to generate talk, between fans, and so we can have something to talk about. But for me, transfers at the moment is, the unknown. So also, there are players that, want to get out and want to move from our club and other clubs. But to be talking about transfers where we don't even know when the season will either start or not, resume again or not, or let alone next season, for me, a lot of talk between fans so we can have something to talk about. But I don't think we should be talking about transfers yet because we don't even know as fans when the season will resume or whether it will be finished or cancelled, or we don't know. Like you've seen already in France, the league has been cancelled. In Holland, the league has been cancelled. In Belgium, so on. So it's only the main 3 or 4. I don't know whether La Liga has been suspended as well, but there were talks they were going to suspend it, but I think they hold that on hold at the moment. They put that on hold. But Serie A clubs, the players from Italy, the Serie A clubs have recalled their players back to training because Italy is now coming good again. They've handled this corona well so far. So, they're in the clear with that. Their players are sort of coming back. The clubs, the whole 20 clubs have agreed to continue the season. The Bundesliga is doing the same. I think they've pulled their players back training, but training in spaces, in little groups. So, and also in England at the moment, it's sort of unknown. I saw the other day that Arsenal players are being called back to training. I don't know how positive that is or not, or how accurate. But the top 3 sort of leagues in the world want to finish their season. But the French league, the Dutch league, the Belgian league, and all these other smaller leagues have just went, no, we're not doing it. Cancel. So yeah, I hope we do finish the season before some format how to finish it off, which would be good because there's a lot of uproar whether people say to give a league to Liverpool, some say don't give it to them. I don't know what's going to happen with the European places, Champions League or Europa League. For me, just like you said, like we had this chat, Terry, a while back. Resume it, with whatever, play 2 or 3 games a week. There's 10 games to go or something. So just finish it off. But I don't know what's going to happen whether they do finish the Premier League. What's going to happen with the Champions League and the Europa League? The teams are already in there. But if you finish the Premier League, and the Serie A and the Bundesliga and La Liga, you have to finish the European competitions too. So you can't just finish your own league, not the European league like the Europa League and Champions League. You have to find a way to finish the domestic leagues and also the European Champions League and the Europa. But it'll be interesting. It'll be in unknown territory.
Okay. We've got a super chat here from Chadwick Muffet. Thank you very much for your contribution, mate. He put, I rewatched the Champions League final against Barcelona in 2006. That ref was such a disgrace. That ref clearly was for Barcelona pathetic. Well, I can't add no more to that, Chadwick. No. What about you, Stan?
Yeah, funny enough, it was quite recently that I saw some highlights on that game again. It's one game that I've always purposely never gone back to watch. Yeah, I remember the night very well. I was living in Amsterdam at the time, and I remember I had 2 bottles of champagne in the fridge on ice, ready to celebrate. But the way that match went down, I mean, that season, I think Arsenal were nailed on to win the Champions League that season. I mean, no one could touch us. We were just in so much form and so much confidence, and then to have it taken away. But I mean, Lehmann did go in very recklessly. But I mean, the clip that I saw the other day, when they sort of showed it slowed down, it did look like there wasn't any contact. But he did go in. So it did. We didn't have VAR back then, right? But it did look quite reckless. But gutted. That was the chance, wasn't it?
Do you know what? What really hurts me was that a couple of years ago I went to Barcelona and I'd done a tour of the new camp. And when you go in there, you see all the Champions Leagues. And I've actually got the picture of the Champions League that they've got the cup when they beat us. It's got it all there, you know what I mean? Arsenal. And just imagine, you know what I mean? Just imagine the feeling of Arsenal winning that game and picking that Champions League up against Barcelona. It would have been absolutely amazing. But,
you should have taken it, Terry. You should have taken it, mate.
Yeah, I know. Oh, yeah.
Bring it back home.
I was just going to say, funny you talking about old photographs, Terry, because I saw a very old photograph of you quite recently with Anders Limpar. So tell us the story behind that. Was you a ball boy for the day or what at Arsenal?
No, it's quite a funny story actually. I was mascot for Arsenal back in '91. It was my 13th birthday. Actually, it was my 13th. My birthday. Well, just before that, obviously, my mum and dad wanted for Christmas. I wanted the Arsenal kit, so they bought me the Arsenal kit, the brand new one at the time, the red and white one, with a load of other stuff. And then all of a sudden, my birthday is on the 5th of January, and they put me down to be a mascot. And obviously, they said it can take up to 6 to 8 years, and it's just computer generated. It just, at the time, it just, you know what I mean? It just, and they put me down just before Christmas, and they come through just before my birthday, and they give me that for my obviously as well as my birthday present on the 5th of January, and it was for I think it was somewhere about the 21st of January, I think it was, or something like that. I got to be mascot for Arsenal. And the only downside to that was that my mum and dad bought the kit for me for Christmas, and then I got a free one 2-3 weeks later when I was a mascot. So I ended up with 2 kits. And when we got there at the time, unfortunately, Tony Adams was in prison for the drink driving. So I had to have Paul Davis. I've got to dig that out. I've got a picture of me running out the tunnel with Paul Davis because he was captain that day. I was on the pitch. We were playing Everton. Neville Southall patted me on the head and was having a good conversation with me. The best feeling was obviously because in them days you weren't allowed to go in the dressing rooms, so I was just waiting down at the bottom of the steps, and then you hear all the boots coming out of the dressing room ready to line up. It was absolutely fantastic feeling, and then running out on the pitch, there was a few people that I knew in the actual crowd and that. And there was a couple of them just behind the goal of where David Seaman was when I was taking some shots against him. And obviously he lets one in, but he couldn't save it anyway. Let's be honest, it was a cracking shot, you know what I mean? And they was all jumping up and cheering. It was absolutely brilliant. And then obviously I got to have my picture done with Anders Limpar. And then, we won that game 1-0. Merson scored a goal. We went top, and I do believe we stayed top and won the league that year, 91. So
91, yeah.
It was all down to me, boys. It was all down to me. So
you got any video of that, Terry? For you, it would have been good if you haven't, mate.
What's that, mate? Sorry?
You got a video of you?
No, that's the only. Obviously, you didn't have videos back in them days. You know what I mean? Or camcorders.
The club.
No, I've asked Arsenal if they've got any footage at all that I could have or anything like that, and they just basically got back to me and said, sorry, we haven't got anything. So, yeah, I haven't got no footage. Then the worst thing is that obviously in them days you were allowed to go in the players' lounge afterwards. So obviously I went in the players' lounge with my mum and dad, and they had a good drink. But where everyone was celebrating and cheering, all the beer went all over on my mum's camera. So the camera, all the photos, we didn't have no photos in the end because of the camera. Yeah, we only had about 5 photos that I got off the professional person. But I'd have to get the other couple up. I've got another one with Anders Limpar and a couple with Paul Davis and me on the centre circle and all. So, yeah, it was a fantastic day. Really unbelievable. I can't believe it.
Yeah, nice one.
Quite the envy of a few of my mates, obviously. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I thoroughly enjoyed that, mate. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
It's a good memory you got for yourself, mate. It's good.
No, it's unbelievable, unbelievable. Honestly, it was one of the best. I mean, I was shitting myself. Don't get me wrong. Do you know what I mean? You know, standing there as a 13-year-old boy, and what they said was, I remember, because who was it? I think it was not Tony. It was not Paul Davis. I think it might have been. I can't remember who it was, but they said that if we lose, the mascot gets dumped in the cold ice bucket. So, you know what I mean? You're standing there thinking, I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? You better win, boys. You know what I mean? So, no, it was great. It was great. Melina's got a question here. She said, Stan, Terry, and Flo, if you could have just one key signing this summer, who would you sell and who would you buy?
A realistic signing or fantasy signing?
Well, go for who you would like. Let's go for who you would want. The one signing, who you'd get rid of, and who you would like.
Well, I'll go first. One signing that I would like to see happen in Arsenal is a defender. I know everyone wants Koulibaly, but for me, as a defender, when you hit that age 29 and that you're pushing, you know, your pace starts to leave you alone. For me, I'd like to see Upamecano come in. He's a very good, strong, solid defender, and he's got pace on him too. And I think he would work well in our defence. So him and Salah together, youngsters as well, French. This can be a partnership made, you know, for the next 15, 20 years. And I think Upamecano, and if I had to sell one, he won't be Xhaka. If I had to sell one, good question, that one. If I had to sell one, obviously I'll probably sell Lacazette because I think we can still get some money out of him. And I'll keep Aubameyang because Lacazette can only play as a number 9 for me, as a striker. And I think the position with Aubameyang is covered. So I would sell Lacazette and we can get some money out of him too while we can. So, and while other clubs are sort of circling around him. So I would sell Lacazette and I would sign Upamecano for me from Leipzig.
Okay, no, that's good. Well, that's good, Flo. Stan?
Well, the player that I really like, and I think that he would really be able to add something to Arsenal, is Donny van der Beek from Ajax. I really like this guy quite a lot. However, I'm going to have to agree with Flo because I think that defence needs more work. It's a more important place where we need to put something of a bit of quality in there to hopefully accompany William Saliba. And I'd go for exactly the same player. Dayot Upamecano from RB Leipzig would be the one that I would try to move heaven and earth to bring in. The player to go out for me is quite an easy one, and it's the highest paid player at the club. He's earning, you know, a salary that could pay another 4 players, and we're not really getting as much of a return from him as what we should be. So I would move on Mesut Ozil as quickly as possible.
I think we would all like to move Mesut Ozil on, but there's no takers for him. So that's why I would at least there are some takers for him. So
yeah. I'll just drive him out to the woods then and leave him out.
Yeah, but you still have to pay him for the whole year. But for the whole year.
For me, it'd be Xhaka to get rid of. Obviously, I just can't see why on earth anybody wants him in our club. He doesn't bring nothing whatsoever for me. And as long as he's there, unfortunately, he's gonna get games. So I want to get rid of him straight away and fix up that midfield. For me, if I had a choice right at this precise moment, I would like to get James Maddison. I think he would be absolutely brilliant. He'd hit the ground running. He's obviously pedigree in the Premiership, and he's guaranteed to make Arsenal a much better side straight away. So, you know, if you got Upamecano in, I would hope he would hit the ground running, but you never know. I mean, look at Pepe, you know what I mean, and a few others that have come over. They needed to adjust and things like that. And we need players right now to settle in to make our team better for me.
I've got a question for you two. You think our defense is a bigger problem or our midfield is a bigger problem?
I've always felt that our defence has always been left really open and not very well protected and had a good screen. And I think that I've always felt that some of the defenders that have come through Arsenal and have left with a bad name, and I can pick one. I picked Squillaci, right? When Squillaci came to us, he came to us with quite a pedigree, won a lot of trophies, done very well at the teams that he played for, a good pedigree. He left with, with a real bad reputation. And I remember hearing an interview with him some years later. I think it was something I was reading, and he said that playing in the defence, centre of the defence at Arsenal, he said it was like proper heart. I'm paraphrasing. It was like heart attack material. He said you're constantly exposed, and you're constantly got forwards running at you, and you're sort of like running off them almost with your back to goal. And he said it was, the most difficult defensive job the team he'd ever played with was playing at Arsenal. So maybe you got something to that the midfield, if we had a good screen, maybe some of our defenders wouldn't be under so much pressure all the time, wouldn't make so many mistakes, and probably wouldn't be as bad as what some of us think they really are.
For me, I would say the midfield we need to sort out. We need to get rid of Xhaka straight away. He causes too many mistakes. He's just an hindrance, to be honest. We need a great midfielder that will give us 100 minutes a game. And obviously with extra time, with the 90 minutes, you need someone that's going to run 100 minutes a game. And we need someone like a Jordan Henderson. I know I'm not saying get him, but what I mean is their engines. Same as Jane Milner. Do you know what I mean? We need a player that's got an engine that will run, will get in there and not be scared to knock a few players back. So that's why I would love Jack Grealish. I think he could be that player to do that. Like I said, I mean, Partey, good player. But he's going to have to settle in again. Do you know what I mean? Like he's going to have to come over here. Would he pick the pace up straight away because it's going to be a lot faster? Would he be strong on the ball? Do you know what I mean? Because he's going to get a lot more physical over here than where he is. Where is he in France at the moment or Spain?
Who?
Partey.
Oh, he's in Atletico Madrid. He's in Spain.
Spain. Yes, that's what I mean. It's the tempo is going to be so much faster. You know what I mean? There's going to be so much more contact. Is he going to hit the ground running straight away? Whereas Jack Grealish, if you've got him in straight away, he shores up that midfield. You've got Torreira there, who I think will be absolutely brilliant next to him. And if your midfield is a lot stronger, then hopefully they keep the ball away from your defence. So then your defence hasn't got to work as hard, in my opinion. So for me, if we get the midfield sorted out first, we've got Sadaba coming over. Hopefully we'll have a couple of our other players back, Holding and Chambers, and you know what I mean. We still have David Luiz and Socrates and that. So hopefully one of them can be a great defender next to him, and then we can go from there. That would be what I would think. What about yourself, Flo?
Yeah, for me, one signing that is a must cry for us is that defensive midfielder who's just going to sit in front of the back four and say, all right, Bansta's coming through here. And he's going to dictate the players around him in that midfield position, saying, okay, you guys do this and I got this. So for me, I think a player like that would suit us to the T is, I know he plays for Leicester and he's going to, if we do go for him, they're going to want at least 70, 80 million for him, which indeed and he's a Premier League proven player. And the thing with Partey is, I rate him highly as well. But the thing is, like you said, he's going to come from La Liga to the Premier League, which he ain't going to have much time, one. And also he's got to adapt. And us as a club, I don't think we have the patience, to bring in someone like that and just, let him, adjust. We need someone to come in, hit the ground running, and make us, a nice, solid, strong outfit in the midfield. So for me, I think the defensive midfield position is a must for us. Like someone like him or Kante, but I don't think we'll get him. But if we do, if like for me, if Arsenal don't spend money on bringing 3, 4, 5 players, I don't care. If we sign 1 or 2 players, if this window opens up and we sell 3 or 4, I'll be very happy. But we have to get the right players because we do spend money, but we spend money on the wrong players. And that's why us as fans are very frustrated and go after the board and say, they haven't done this, they haven't done that. Because we've been let down, even from the Arsene Wenger era, we've been let down with, players that we need to sign, and it's out there that we can see, but the people in charge can't see, which is a bit frustrating for us. So I think the defensive midfield position for us is a must. And for me, Jacko is a good player, but he's not for the Premier League. He'll be good in Germany, Spain, or Italy, even France, which they give him more time. Like in them leagues, it's all about technique and let the ball do the running. Which in Premier League, it's all about bang, 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 90 minutes. You got no room to breathe, mate. So for us, we need a player like Ndidi in there. Someone who's going to be like even like Torreira. He's good as well in that position, but he needs someone else to help him out because when Torreira's played in that position, he's like a dog chasing the bone, and he doesn't have the support, and then that's why he tires out, and that's why you see him play 2 games. So not start 3 games. He's been inconsistent in that way. But for me, that defensive midfield position is a must this summer. But I don't care if that no one else, just that position, I'll be very happy.
Okay, we've got a question here from Chadwick Moffat. Great question. Out of the panel, who was the Arsenal player that many fans liked, but you never thought they were good enough?
I'm just laughing because it's late night, man, and there's some crazy wrestling booking, some crazy wrestling booking going on in the chat box with Don the Clown and Sean Conway was just making me laugh there. So good fantasy booking, but for me, I'm going to go quick on it because people have heard it with me before, right? Mesut Ozil, that's the one that I'm always going to go for. For me, the contract that he was given was a terrible, terrible bit of business. It's been an albatross around our neck. And, as for saying a player that I'm not very happy with, that is very popular, I mean, the man's got, about 25 million followers on Twitter. Arsenal's got about 13 to 15 million. The guy's a big concern. He has a lot of support. A lot of people tend to follow him over the club. But for me, Arsenal was here before him. It will be here after him. And, I look forward to we can get those finances off of our books.
Okay. Flo?
I'm not really quite sure, to be honest. I can think of at the moment. I probably would say Ozil as well. But I kind of like Ozil. On his day, he can tear it up. But yeah, he hasn't delivered as much as I'd liked him to, but yeah, I would agree. I would say Ozil as well. Yeah, it sounds like him, but for me,
it's got me stumped, to be honest, because I can't think off the top of my head.
It's a good question.
I thought you'd be all over granite, Terry.
Well, the thing is, he's just shit, isn't he? So you know what I mean. He couldn't even be in a fucking team. So I can't bring myself to say his name, to be honest. But I don't even think, well, I'm going to have to, I think, because I can't think off the top of my head. So I'm going to have to go Shaka. But let me ask you a question. Let's reverse it, right? What one player that has been sold from our club would you have liked to have stayed longer?
Oh, okay.
I'll go first.
Well, for me, it's quite easy. I think I was a big fan of Mark Overmars. And I would have loved to have seen Mark Overmars stay longer at Arsenal. He was good while we had him. He played quite a few games, but when he left us and went to Barcelona, he still had quite a lot left. He played quite a lot of games for Barcelona, and I would have liked to have seen him play some more for Arsenal.
I'm going to extend it because there's 3 players that I really we should have done. So can you think of another 2 more, Stan?
Yeah, I can. I would have liked to have seen a partnership of Nicolas Anelka and Thierry Henry.
Yes.
I would have loved to have seen that play out a little bit more.
Everyone in the comments, let us know and all. Give us your 3 players that have left Arsenal who you wished, who wasn't there for that long, who you wish we could have kept and seen what would have happened. Sorry, Stan.
I think the third one that left us that I wanted to stay longer was obviously Robin van Persie at that particular time because he was red hot. He was red hot, and he proved it. He got swooped up by United, and he was like that one little missing piece that they needed, and he managed to get the team over the line to get the silverware. So I know that he left in a bad way, and it left a bad taste in my mouth. But I wish that didn't happen. I wish we'd have kept him.
No, I totally agree with all 3 you said there. Stan, Flo?
Robin van Persie, says Fabregas. and Emmanuel Petit.
Oh, okay. Mine is
say as well with Petit. I always felt that for Petit's career, he didn't look half as good once he left Vieira's side, did he?
Yeah.
Do you know, partnership was really
well. He wasn't the same after that.
And once he left Arsenal, I just thought that he never looked as, you know, half the play that he did when he was in that midfield with Vieira.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for most people that everyone said they're agreeing, Van Persie and Fabregas and all that. For me, I mean, Van Persie and Fabregas was at Arsenal for quite a long time. If you know what I mean, I do agree with Van Persie. If he's there for one more season, didn't go to United, we possibly could have won the league that year. But then that was down to Arsenal themselves. They didn't show ambition, so they should have showed ambition to Van Persie to keep him there. Do you know what I mean? So for me, I definitely would have said Anelka. I think he would have been absolutely fantastic for us if he would have stayed, and he could have been an absolute legend. Yeah. Because I do think when he was at Arsenal that time for that season, he was astonishing. He was fantastic. You know what I mean? He looked so threatening every time his pace, he was on the ball. I just think he could have been an absolute legend if he stayed. My second one is Gnabry. I think he would have been fantastic and all. I was gutted when he went, to be honest, because I really did see potential in him. But, you know, that was down to the club again, not showing ambition and tying him up for a long contract before that. And my third one, I always liked him before he came to Arsenal and he played for Germany, and that was Podolski. But I just don't think we played him in his right position and played him out of position all the time.
We wasted him.
If we would have played him in his right position, he would have been absolutely phenomenal and all. We've got a super chat here. Chadwick, never see Carlos Villa. Never knew Carlos Villa was at Arsenal. Yeah.
Oh, he was.
Yeah, he was at Arsenal. He weren't too bad either, to be fair. I don't think he was as bad.
I might go back to Stan's point with Van Persie. Yeah. If he would have played at that time, and if you do remember, once we got rid of him, we brought in Podolski, Cazorla. I would have loved to see Cazorla and Van Persie play together. That would have been a dynamic duo.
That would have been something a bit different, yeah. Some good shouts there, though. Some good shouts there. I just wanted to ask if recent times a player that I thought we could have got a little bit more out of and maybe should have persevered with quite recently was Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain when he went to Liverpool. Yeah. You know, I felt that, again, that was another player that was going who probably hadn't quite reached their full potential yet and we hadn't seen the best of.
The only problem with him, he's injury prone, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? He's been a lot injury prone for Liverpool, so maybe we didn't get a bad deal out of it, really, because we 50 million for him, didn't we?
35.
40 million?
Yeah. 30, 40.
Yeah.
Well, somewhere in between there. And I mean, he hasn't really had a whole season, has he, since he left us?
He's had the same problem as what he had in Arsenal. As soon as he hit a bit of form, injured. Same in Liverpool. As soon as he hit a bit of form, injury. So,
yeah. Very much like Danny Welbeck as well, wasn't it? Similar story.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Arsenal Fan Circle channel. Big up yourself, mate. Hope you're good. He put, we chatted about swaps earlier on our podcast. Shocking, we got Gallas for Cole. I mean, that's Arsenal all over, isn't it? Let's be honest. That is Arsenal over. Do you know what I mean?
I was on the show earlier with Ray on Fan Circle, and he brought up some of the exchanges, because we were talking about with the transfer market the way it is. Let's have a look at some of our past swap deals, and we always seem to have come off on the rough end of the deal. You know, we've always got like a player. We've always got rid of a good player and brought in a player that's on their last legs, and the other club is glad to see the back of.
Yeah, you got to remember this one when we got rid of Jose Antonio Reyes and we brought in Julio Baptista from Real Madrid.
Yeah, that was brought up earlier as well. That's another one.
What did we get rid of? I liked him as a player.
I know that he was homesick, but we should have got a better deal out of that, I think, for us, you know. But yeah, the Gallas one was probably one of the worst deals I can ever remember. And I mean, as soon as they gave him central defender, as soon as they gave him the number 10 shirt, I knew it was weren't gonna end well. I just knew it.
We've had some rubbish, haven't we? Let's be honest. I mean, Sylvester, we've had.
Yeah.
Gallus, like you just said. You know what I mean? I can't even think of. So we've had some right mares though. Do you know what I mean? I can't remember, to be honest, the last time we bought a world-class player at the top of his peak. Do you know what I mean? You know, like where Barcelona or Real Madrid or Man United, Man City will go for these players at the top of their game. When was the last time we actually done that?
They either go just before they reach their peak, or we get them when the players come in on the downslide. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, that's where I honestly think that we definitely fucked up getting rid of Sven Mislintat, because that was the way that we were supposed to find these young players that could go on the upslide. They could, help us get more points in the league, and then we sell them, we make a profit, we reinvest it. But now, if we're just going to use Raul's fucking black book and Rolodex, and he's going to ring up agents, and it's a case of what players on your list could you get a move for? That's not the way to be buying players for the team. We should be going out and identifying players with certain attributes to fill certain positions, because that's not what we need, not what's available. And that really worries me as well moving forward, because it definitely seems that that's the way it's heading at Arsenal.
Yeah. Comedy Steve sums it up.
Great example of that.
I said, Comedy Steve, I think, sums it up brilliantly here. He put Arsenal transfer dealings are like when you get encouraged to change energy tariffs, promised a better deal for less money until you get your first bill through. I think that's fantastic. Right?
So if we can get back to your point, we're saying that when was the last time Arsenal got a player on the up? I think it was Alexis Sanchez at that time when we got him. After just the World Cup in Brazil, he was red hot. I think that's the only one that we've signed. Mesut Ozil, for me, I don't think we signed him at his peak, because he's been in this football since the age of 14, 15, and he sort of got a bit burnt out. And his best years were them years that he had at Madrid, for them about 3 years that he had there. And then when he came to us, because when you play football, when you hit football at a young age, and even when you're into about 27, 28, because you've been involved in football from a young age, your legs sort of tend to go. And so I think the only one that I can think of was Alexis Sanchez, that only best deal we've got when he was, up there in the last few seasons up there.
Super chat here from Chadwick Moffat. He's put biggest pussy to ever play for Arsenal.
Must be talking about Ozil. Sorry.
Bloody hell. Biggest pussy to play for Arsenal.
Well, Xhaka said remember Xhaka's interview about being frightened and scared. That always made me, remember he got interviewed about why we lost. I can't remember what game it was, and he said that he felt that the team was frightened and a bit scared. I didn't like those comments. You never hear Tony Adams come out and say that was the reason why.
I mean, it was against Watford, I think, or not?
Was it Watford? I can't remember who it was, but I didn't like them comments at all. I thought those comments were a bit pussyish, to be honest.
Listen, you haven't got to convince me. That's what I'm going for, the pussy sacker. So, what about you?
He's one of them, but he's not alone, I guess. He's not alone. I think you can put about 7 or 8 in there with him.
Decline Mozart's put, Terry, this is exactly what I was saying last time. I believe it or not. If Arsenal request back Cesc Fabregas from Barca again, despite he's leaving, that looks so what's that word? How'd you say that word?
Unceremonious.
And Alex Son, and insist on Garnaby and Chamberlain departure. With my little knowledge in football, I am very Arsenal will be at a different level today. Yeah.
Hard to disagree if we'd managed to keep some.
Exactly.
But even when Fabregas left, Wenger's biggest mistake was to not buy him back when we had a 35 million buyback clause. If you would have got him back, you would have been a totally different Arsenal.
I would have loved to have seen Cesc come back, but I could never see it happening because Mesut Ozil was in the squad. And
doesn't matter. Cesc Fabregas can play as that deep line midfielder.
I just worried, but I just think that as a personality with Arsene Wenger, he's not that way. You know, he doesn't want to bring someone in like Fabregas, because Arsene Wenger's thinking, would that upset Mesut Ozil? It's like, am I going to get less out of him? Is it going to rock the boat? And Arsene Wenger, the one thing he's not a boat rocker at all.
But he got Flamini instead, and look how that ended up.
Say again?
He got Flamini for free, getting Fabregas, and look at that turned out.
Yeah. We needed Flamini, though, didn't we? We really needed him.
He didn't do jack when he came back. It was past.
Right, boys. So we've been going for an hour now. Just before we shut shop up, I've got another quick question for you before we go. But just before we do that, I just want let everyone know to tune in tomorrow. It'll probably be about 7:30 p.m., 8 p.m. We've got a brand new show which is going to be on every Monday, and it's going to be a review when the football comes back. Obviously, a review of the Premier League over the weekend, and we're going to have representatives of each club of the best games over that weekend on the show. So tomorrow we've got Craig from Anfield Agenda joining us. We've got Sophie from Solskjaer, Man United fan, who will be joining us from the Man United representative, and Lee Chappie from Leicester City. So we'll have them three on tomorrow. So please join us for that. And the following Monday, we will reveal the next three representative for clubs tomorrow. So please come along and watch the show. So just before we go, boys, let me know, and everyone in the comments, thanks for joining us, but let us know quickly. Season, it's going to come back, right? Apparently, it's going to come back. Where are Arsenal going to finish up? And will we make that top five? Stan the man.
I think if the season came back, I think there is a good possibility that we would be able to perhaps qualify for the Europa League.
Yeah.
I just think the Champions League may just be slightly out of our grasp by a few points.
Yeah, no, I can see where you're coming from.
Anyway, top. If you take City out of it, how many points are we behind anyway? Because I haven't even had a look at it since football stopped.
That's a good point.
If the City thing's going to happen, which it looks like it is, that's a good point that Flo makes. If the City thing happens, that might just be a little bit of luck that by those couple of points, we could sneak a Champions League, right? Never know.
Right, we're on 40 points, but obviously we've got a game in hand. But that game in hand would have been against City, right? So City are on. We can't catch them anyway.
No.
They're 17 points ahead of us. Leicester are 13 points ahead of us. And then Chelsea in fourth place are 8 points ahead of us. But if we did manage to win that game in hand, right, we could be on 43 points. So we could be sitting in sixth place on goal difference if we won by a couple of goals. So we could be on sixth place, 5 points behind Chelsea, who's in fourth place.
And is that counting taking out City, which would bump us up a place if they're out of it?
No, if City are out of that, then we go up to fifth. We'll go up to fifth.
Toss of a coin, that's
Yeah. And then United, don't forget, if we did win that game in hand, we'd only be 2 points behind United, who's in fifth place.
Yeah.
If that happened, the players wouldn't have to take a pay cut, would they?
So,
business as usual.
Going by that, does that change your mind or not?
My heart says yeah, but mine says probably not. Look, for me, even if we do finish into them Europa League spots, for me, I think for us it'll be better if we don't get the European position, because then it's just one game a week. We can really focus on, getting that Champions League spot or even further up. But
I think what we remember is that obviously it's going to be like a new season. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's going to have all their players back from injury, more or less.
Yeah, but everyone will also have their players back, but everyone will, be struggling as well because no training, everyone will be rusty.
Yeah.
So it's basically sort of amateur football coming back.
What you got to remember is all that form guide has gone out the window now. So we're basically starting with a clean slate.
Yeah.
So I mean, these last sort of 10 games, I mean, let's be honest, it could be anyone's.
Yeah.
Yeah. We could come back and those teams that were ahead of us and doing well on their form goes into the toilet, and for whatever reason, we turn a corner and string a couple of games together and we make those few points.
That's what I'm saying. If one team out of that top 6 wins 4 or 5 games on a bounce, you're laughing, isn't you? Let's be honest. I mean, it's not unheard of to do that. No. You know what I mean? So it will be interesting, boys. It will be interesting. But then again, you know, I don't think it will be back. So it's hypothetical, really. So, you know what I mean? Life is more important, as they say, you know.
It is.
So everyone out there, stay safe. Everyone in the comments, thank you so much for joining us, especially from England at this late time of night. Anyone else, you know what I mean, that's still up, thank you for joining us too. Flo from Down Under, I hope you're good, mate. Stay well, stay safe. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much.
Stand a man.
Just I've seen on these comments. Is this actually? Is this being actually said from the FA or something? If the season does start behind closed doors, players have to wear masks. Is that actually true, or is that just what people think?
It's just another rumor, to be honest, Flo. You know, I mean, there's all rumors flowing about. Like we did talk about this earlier, me and Stan. You know, how can you wear a mask when nearly every player spits on the floor? Do you know what I mean? So
you can't wear a mask to play the game in. I can understand maybe training, but not playing a game. You got to take a bigger intake of air, right? All that running.
The only people who should have masks on are the camera crews, the people who are actually playing still and not doing much movement.
Yeah, exactly.
The physios, doctors, but not the players, man. Come on, that's not. If it was up to me, if I was a player and said you have to wear a mask, I'd say, you know what, don't worry about it. I won't even play.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got to breathe, mate. Now you're running full pelt with someone. You can't have a mask on. You try to put a mask on and stay still and just breathe. You feel the hot air coming in and out, let alone running with it.
Got a little hole in the middle.
Yeah, but then never take it off. If you let's hope boys, and we do see a bit of football on, which will be good, and hopefully we do finish the season off, and hopefully we do get 5th or above 5th, and hopefully we do get Champions League. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. But it is what it is. Thanks for having me on. Pleasure.
Thanks a lot, Flo. Thanks for coming on, mate. Stan the man, thank you again for coming on.
Cheers, thanks for having me on, and big up to everyone in the chat box that stayed up on this late one to come and join us. Cheers for that.
This is obviously a regular show with me and Stan every sort of Sunday night, early Monday morning. So please keep it in the diary. Put the bell on so you don't forget to know when it's coming on. I might do one again Wednesday morning if you want to do one, Stan.
Well, I ain't going out. Do you know what I mean? I've looked at my diary, Terry, and surprisingly, quite empty.
Yeah, we might come back early Wednesday. So it'd be early Thursday morning.
Yeah,
Wednesday night, early Thursday morning. I'll let you know. Just look out for it. And like I said, please come and watch us tomorrow night for another great show. Until then, thank you everyone in the comments. Stay safe. Stan, stay safe. Flo, stay safe. And we'll see you soon.
Nice to meet you, Stan.
Yeah, likewise, Flo. Take care, mate.
In the words of Claude, it's time to go, boys.
It's time to go. Say later, Claude, as well.
Still on.
Say, boys.